Hey everyone, the stream will be live in a little under 10 minutes, and then we'll start playing the Madness Commandment in the new Old One Rising update. See you in 10. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new stream for Godhood. Today we're looking at the Old One Rising, the new update for Godhood. It's the second update in our early access program, and today we'll have a play mostly of the new commandment, which is the Madness Commandment. You might notice, if you're a regular viewer, that I am not Rick. Instead, I am Manuel. Rick is not feeling that well today, so we decided to switch up the schedule and have me stream the game instead. I'm one of the gameplay programmers on this stream, on the development team for Godhood, so I will be able to answer any and all questions that you have, but from a slightly different stance. So first of all, I want to mention that if we have a look at the main menu, it will look slightly different from what you're used to. If you've been playing Godhood recently, you will see that the Old One Rising update is in here. So we have the nice updated banner here and the green glow, which basically means this is a new game. I'm hearing that the volume on the game is a bit high, so I'll put that down a little bit. That should be better. So what you will see is that this is the Old One Rising update. In the bottom right corner we see all updates that we've been doing up till now. So Will of the People was last month. Now we've got the Old One Rising, a long anticipated update. We already announced the Old One Rising content when we did the Kickstarter in February. And you will also see that the new update is already anticipated here. We cannot reveal that much about it yet, but we do introduce a development roadmap in this update. And we'll have a look at that at the end of the stream, but you can already look it up right now yourself. Okay, so now it's time to hop into the game and start a game as a God of Madness. And as always, it would be great to have some input from the audience on what type of religion we'll create today. What is the name of the religion? What does the religion God look like? What do we look like? So one of the cool things about this update is that Carmen, our character artist, has made a lot of new parts so that we can customize our God even more. You might already see a few new ones, some very weird combinations. We already had the octopus-like tentacle god there, but these arms are new, for example. So let's have a look in the chat and see if people have some suggestions for what we should call our new God of Madness. In the meanwhile, I'll look for a cool avatar. So the horns are new and this cool new hairdo. No new eyes, but we already have the perfect eyes for Cthulhu or other madness gods. Got a few new heads. This one is pretty cool. I'm going for the horns. I don't want the neon color. Okay, so our first suggestion for a god is Snarl. So Snarl will be the name of our god. And I think that kind of fits this face here. I don't want to be too aquatic of a god, so I'll make sure that our arms are a lightning god with T-Rex length arms. Bow and arrow. Goat god. This is very aquatic as well. We see a theme here. Let's keep it simple like this. Maybe change up the body type a bit to the fish. Okay, let's go for this a bit of a goat theme. Okay, what is our religion called? Perhaps those of the snarling face. Perhaps a bit long. Let's just keep it this simple descent into madness. It's right there on the tin, and our followers are gonna be called. Let's do this because we already know, or I already know, that they will have a special outfit once we start as a Madness Commandment. Okay, we're gonna be a dark god, of course. You can be a light Madness god if you want. Round. Let's do something a bit sinister. Yeah, that works. And we're gonna be a god, sure, and let's go. Alright, so here's where you first see the new gameplay content. We're gonna tell our people what is right, as always, but this time we cannot choose the original 4 commandments. We can also choose from a new, non-dual commandment called Madness. The insights provided by Snarl are the only truth. The uninformed will think your followers are mad, but the truth will engulf all your enemies. And you can see a tiny building icon there, which is the Temple of Madness icon. A unique thing that we can create as a god of madness. So Madness has no opposite. We're not planning on creating an opposite for Madness either. We could make it at some point, but we've decided that it's fine to have commandments without opposites. Commandments are things that you find important as a player, as a god for your religion, and it should be okay for commandments to be on their own. That's a new sound effect for Madness, and yes, we're sure that Madness will be our virtue. The elders who worshipped the ancestors thought this idea to be dangerous. This is madness! Well, duh. They could not see how they were wrong in opposing Snarl. A sacrament was called to determine who was right. And as we enter the sacrament, we will see the first new disciple class of this update. It is the cultist. And the cultist has their little pet. It's sort of a flying eye. It's very important as a god of madness to keep an eye on your disciples. That's why it's there. It will be a recurring theme in the visuals. So the cultist is a dark disciple class, just like, for example, the weaver that you see here. Oh, we already lost. Well, we'll see more of the cultist because they are our main prophet. Alim is our main prophet. Yes, we've been cast out of the city. But one day Snarl would bring the liberation of madness to the old city. This shall be our holy site. Yes, of course. Alright, Alim. You're still on your own, but soon the first cultists will join. Yep, and there you'll have him. So for Madness we decided it would be fun to give it a slightly different outfit to your people, because of course you're going to be creating a cult, and cultists have to be hooded, as we know. So the game starts out the same, except for that we have a cultist. Cultist is a dark type, like I already said. What's important about the cultist is he's a mad prophet. He uses weird abilities, so all abilities have the tag weird, which may be important at a later stage. And what he does is that he unchains his allies, which gives them a strong, dark ability, but which is also a clouded thought. What that all means, we'll see in the next few sacraments. Their important stats are charisma and knowledge. Their abilities are corrupt vision right now and babble, but as every class they have multiple abilities. Okay, so let's just collect some new followers, some hooded ones. And then we'll get our first and our second and third disciples, Coco and Marala. Assign them as well and wait for the first sacrament as always. So this may be a good time to tell you if you have any questions, if you're new and you have questions about what is this game, or if you have been watching a lot, playing a lot, and you have questions about this new Madness Commandment, please don't hesitate to ask them in one of the chats. So Yoni is helping me out. He's watching the Twitch chat, the YouTube chat, and the Steam broadcast chat, all of those. And he will give or pass on your questions to me. Okay, so our first sacrament, well, actually the first sacrament that we have any chance of winning will be against these godless people, and we will see the first property of the cultist in action. He has unchains all non-cultist allies in the sacrament, so in this case both the other two. This will give them plus 25% physical damage, which is quite a lot, and it will add an unchained madness thought. This is a clouded thought, which means that some other characters may react to it, that executes a dark physical attack with the violent attack. And this is the first clouded thought, which is the same thought type as nervous or entangled, frustrated or infatuated. That also has its own ability. So if the thought wheel lands on this thought, the character will actually execute an ability instead of just doing nothing. So we see Alim unchaining their fellow characters, fellow disciples. And if I press the space bar, we see that both our allies, so Coco and Marala, have a unchained madness on their mind now. They have a chance to perform that. Babel is quite strong. Another victory for Snarl. No, wait, it's our first victory. That's good, we should celebrate. Got some new hooded ones, some materials. And we've gained our first god level. Will of the people update mechanic is explained. Basically means that we'll have to collect some tribute for the next sacrament. Alright, we have 3 assignments, so we can decide to what our third disciple should do. Should we collect followers or materials? I like to go for materials because that will help us upgrade the long-term benefits of all these buildings. Just do that for a couple of days. So as you maybe have seen in the promotion material, there are 2 new buildings that the Madness Command allows you to create, and we won't see those until we level up our god level a bit more. So perhaps I should actually go for some more hooded ones. The hooded ones will help me reach my next god level. So we'll need, actually we have enough already. So if we just win this battle, this next sacrament, then everything will be fine. So still nothing to worry about. There are still acolytes. Nothing that can counter my cultist dark class. Yeah, that's Unchain again. It's automatically cast at the start. And here there's an Unchained Madness. Bam. Okay. So for an acolyte, that's actually pretty nice as an ability. It is a physical ability, so it does help that it has this bonus. And another Unchained Madness. Yeah, so 3 damage, and the Unchained Madness did 5 just now, so that's actually a lot better. So it really helps me improve the power of those acolytes for now, but it might have a dark side as well. Okay, so now we'll be able to assign a class to Coco, and what's nice, we could create another cultist, which would mean we have more people that can unchain and more chance on unlocking these cool abilities. But there's also a new class, so I'm gonna pick that one because I also want to show that off this stream. That's the Harbinger, and the Harbinger has been a class that we've been announcing in the Kickstarter in February. It's a class that's based on charisma and health. The Harbinger is an avatar of the Void. She lowers the defy of opponents and unleashes a barrage of dark abilities on them. A good companion for morale classes. Okay, so we'll have to make a choice here. The Cultist is more of a physical class, which helps their allies do more physical dark attacks. But the Harbinger actually focuses on morale damage, specifically a support class. So that's actually quite cool. It has an aura that will lower the defy of all opponents. And it also has it has a physical attack as well. And what is weird, it's a morale focused class that also scales with health. And it increases their HP and physical armor. So that means I can use the Harbinger as a tank. So okay, their talent may be a bit bad. Maybe Marala has a better talent. Yeah, Marala has the pig totem, so we can probably use them as a Harbinger better. Let's create a Weaver for now, because I want some dark characters for my Madness religion. Okay, so this will be a Harbinger. It's even one of their favorite classes, so that's great. And let's train them up a bit in the coming sacraments to see what kind of abilities they have. Level 2, that's good. Let's see at what level we unlock the first structure for the Madness Commandment. And actually an important difference between these classes is that the Cultist is only unlocked if you have the Madness Commandment, but the Harbinger is available in every commandment. So you could create a peace religion with a Harbinger in there, for example, which may be a great idea. Okay, let's see. Okay, the Temple of Madness is unlocked at level 7, God level 7, Spiritual Circle. So let's rush for followers a bit, so that within the confines of the stream we will be able to witness the Temple of Madness, the true power of madness, because it has some interesting miracles. An interesting miracle. Okay, so we'll need Charisma for morale damage, or Health for our Harbinger. Yeah, let's go. Well, actually, let's go for this, because we have a Weaver that can make use of the Knowledge. And Cunning and Knowledge are both stats that increase critical damage, critical chance. And critical is actually improved by one of the later passives of the Cultist, if I'm correct. Okay, we'll get the chance to upgrade one of them. We'll do Coco, because he benefits most of Knowledge. It's one of the primary stats. And then we'll make sure to gather some more materials and some more followers. Just gonna rush for the followers. Upgrade my village center a bit, so that we collect the tribute even faster. Alright. When rich jewel traders from far-off lands strode into the marketplace, Coco jumped at the opportunity. The negotiations were a tense battle of wits and guile, but Coco proved victorious when she lured the jewel traders into a wondrous deal in the name of Snarl. Coco speaks with my divine silver tongue. That's great. Okay, so some knowledge, some cunning, and we get a new ability, Condemn. That's just a Weaver ability that we already know of. And we can also summon some new initiates. Let's check out what talent is available for us. Alright, so we've got a Parrot, which I always see as the perfect talent for a Songsmith, having Charisma and Cunning. But we also have a 4-star rating Hair Totem. Well, let's go for the Parrot. I like the Parrot. Not sure whether we should go for the Songsmith, but at least it's a highly talented character. Alright, let's make sure to collect some more followers. Yep, okay, and now I think it's time to go out. We have quite a lot of followers collected. We'll definitely reach the following level, which allows us to create the study structure. Quite important. Oh, we could, if we go to the Dark Caverns, we might actually gain 2 god levels at once if we win it. So let's go there. Let's train the Harbinger. Oh, the Harbinger actually has a miracle charged, so we better not bring them. And instead, just go for the 3 people that need the miracle charge the most. I think this battle is still easy to win. They have power 2, 5 and 2. I've got 9, 5 and 5. So yeah, we'll be fine. Hopefully we won't lose too much spirit, too much HP. Corrupt Vision, that's great. So Corrupt Vision is actually one of the better abilities that Alim has now. Deals lesser dark morale damage and lowers cunning. So it actually means that they will have a harder time evading attacks, harder time hitting critical hits, and also their initiative will lower, which is used to determine which team goes first. I guess that doesn't matter because that's determined at the start of the battle. Okay, so this is an interesting interaction. Since Unchained Madness, the thought selected by Topil, because he was unchained by the Alima Cultist, because that is a clouded thought, other than a normal ability, it's something that clouds the mind of Topil, there was actually a trigger because of that. Because weavers in the game, they punish the feeble. So whenever an enemy has a clouded action, they will punish that by getting a free attack on the character. And that's what you just saw. This character, the godless, the middle godless guy, they attack Topil. So there's a disadvantage of having Unchained Madness. Critical hit, it's good. Okay. So despite this whole interaction here, we came off pretty nicely. More hooded ones, it's fine. 36 new ones. Okay, so we gained 2 god levels, which means we'll get to the Temple of Madness a bit quicker than I would have thought as well. That's good. And Snarl the God rises. We get to dedicate a statue, which is gonna be fun with all the new dedication statues. Oh, I snarl. Please allow me to rest. So this is Coco. Okay, Coco. That's fine and all, but Marala and Alim, they want to level up. Okay, so what do we do first? So I usually look at which characters have miracle charges and whether I can give them a miracle or let them perform a miracle. But I need ritual offerings for that, and I don't have any ritual offerings. So we should make it a priority to collect some ritual offerings, even though we want to god level up as well. So let's assign the ecstatic characters. I'm using hotkeys here to select this button down here with 1. To collect some materials, ritual offerings and some hooded ones. And at the same time, we'll upgrade our only available miracle using the dedicate statue action, which we gained from a god level. And let's look at the new dedication statues. So these ones you already recognize, and then I think all the ones from the banana and downwards are new. So there are 11 new statues. We've got the Banana of Madness, the Spider of Madness, the Baboon of Madness, a Leaf of Madness, a Jellyfish of Madness, the Fire of Madness, which is more Stone of Madness, the Tree of Madness, Cthulhu of Madness, oh wow, okay, that's a bit on the nose, Tentacles of Madness, the All-Seeing Eye of Madness, and the Pyramid of Madness. Okay. Okay, you guys tell me what you'd like to see in our city. You can see a little preview down here. So the Tree of Madness. I like how there's a little face down there. And the face doesn't look mad at all, but you never know once it opens their eyes. This is a bit more simple. It's more of a surveillance camera that I install on the market to see what goes well. Azray 13 says we built the Eye of Madness. I think that's a good choice, the All-Seeing Eye of Madness. And let's say this is our third. No, it's the Eye of Snarl. Oh, there seems to be an issue. That makes it impossible for me to change the name. Oh well. Then the All-Seeing Eye of Madness it will be. I wanted to say that Snarl donated their second eye, the one that you cannot see in the portrait because it's in the back. And we put it in the middle of the city to look at our little hooded ones. And now we see that our miracle has been upgraded. It now also gives charisma and it upgraded the amount of knowledge that it gave. Okay, thanks for the suggestion, Azray. Azray 13. Okay, so we'll need some more offerings. Just continue the normal cycle of the game. Let's see if we can collect enough offerings to level up both Alim and Marala next time after the next segment. We might actually even upgrade the ritual offerings. Building. Collect one more. Yeah, of course I should have done that earlier, so that I would have taken advantage of that earlier in the game. Alright, so now we got a lot of ritual offerings and it's a good time to go. We could even be a little bit greedy and continue collecting more resources for the sacrament. But for now, I think we'll play it safe, because we also have to make Coco rest. No, this will actually be fine. We've got a lot of high-powered disciples that need to go on this sacrament here. But we will encounter a godless character with the life element, so they will counter both our dark characters. But still, I think that... Well, we'll have to see whether we win it. I think we'll be fine, especially with that plus 50% awe points. Okay, so this is the heavy aura of the Harbinger. I think we've seen it before, but let's focus on it for a second. So it gives a minus 10 morale armor at the start of the battle to all opponents. So now they've got a negative morale armor. Oh, this is actually a wrong tooltip. It should say morale armor. Should make a note of that. But that means basically they get more morale damage. Problem is that I don't think we have a lot of morale. Oh, that's actually morale damage. 11 is a really high number. Okay. So the darkness synergies are starting to trigger. If we had brought our Weaver, we could have exploited that nervous thought. Alright, it's a win. And even Topil now gets to level up. Okay, so Topil really wants to be either a cultist or a harbinger. It's like Topil was made for this stream. Help us explain these new classes. Thank you, Topil. But perhaps we need a beast walker instead. So their talents are in charisma. What should we create? Another harbinger or another cultist? I think I like the cultists, to have a second cultist. That way we can... yeah, let's see if they stack. Let's see if we create two cultists, whether they will even unchain their third ally twice. Okay, let's see if there are some questions about the game so far. Okay, we gained a lot of offerings, that's good. So far it doesn't seem like there are any questions, so if you want to know anything, this is the perfect moment to ask that, because I will have to answer the one question that is in chat. Okay, so now we've got enough offerings to level up at least 2 characters. So let's go for Morala, because I really want to see where Morala goes. I have to unassign some tasks. Morala is gonna go to the single miracle that we have. That means... oh no, we can still send someone else there. So probably also send Alim, because we want to upgrade our main prophets before they start to retire of old age. And our third disciple, our third assignment, may very well collect some more followers, because obviously we want to build the Temple of Madness. We need 2 more god levels to reach the Temple of Madness. Alright, another day, and then we'll get the 2 level ups. Okay, so Morala, she performed the Eloquent Peddler, which is the market miracle, and they learned a new ability. It is Break Their Will, deals dark morale damage and has a chance to fear. What would that be? We'll have to see that by using it in Sacrament. Sounds good. So the Harbinger, I think, is centered around the theme of intimidation. It's a scary, dark disciple that will instill fear in the hearts of their opponents. We can use that because I think Snarl wants to be taken seriously. A lot of people make fun of Snarl when he was back in the God realm, but now he has his own religion with an all-seeing eye. That's perhaps a bit too cute, like was said in chat, but we will show them using Morala the Harbinger that we are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so we don't have enough to also level up Topiel, but that's fine. We'll gather some more followers and a bit of materials because we're lacking some materials in our economy. Oh, and it's already time to do the sacraments. Yeah, I think we'll go. Sounds fine. We just level up our characters. Okay, let's try and reach this node here to see if this time around we can make it to the old city and claim it for the virtue of madness. So usually I just send the people that don't have their miracle charged to gain as much XP as possible. And this is also cool because I'll have all my darkness characters. The heavy aura, something that we can count on. Unchain. Okay, so now we're prepared. 2 Unchained Madnesses. Okay, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's okay. So the Unchained Madness is dark, so that's why Alim gets a chance to trigger their follow-up attack. This is actually a really potent combo. We have so much chance on dark attacks that all the dark combos will trigger. As long as we don't encounter any life characters, we'll be fine. Okay, cool. And another god level. And the next god level will already be the level 7 that we need to create the Temple of Madness, our first madness building. So for those tuning in, today we're playing the new update for Godhood. It's the Old One Rising. The Old One Rising is the second update in our early access program, and it's the first update post early access launch that introduces a new commandment, which is the Madness Commandment. And the Madness Commandment is a single commandment which is no opposite, and it allows us to create the cultist class, which we've been using twice now. And we're just playing a bit around with Madness to show all the new content that there is. We try to get to the Temple of Madness. If you have any questions, then please don't be afraid to ask them. Okay, we still have to level up Topiel, so let's do that now before we enter the next sacrament. Topiel is quite happy, which is nice. And then we can't do anything else really. All we need is 130 hooded ones, and we just need 13 more. So if we win the next sacrament, we'll actually be there. So let's stop collecting followers now. Maybe collect some more materials. I always like materials because it allows you to upgrade all your buildings. Cool, another wondrous market miracle. That's the highest grade of miracle they can perform. Gives us 3 knowledge. Yeah, so I focused on knowledge for critical hits, but cultists rather like charisma. You see all their abilities scale with charisma. But I think we'll still be strong enough eventually to beat the old city. Let's see. Okay, so to get closer to the old city, I want to go here. And Marala wants to be part of a sacrament, so we'll send them. Well, it's cool to have the Harbinger anyway. Oh, so these are dark opponents. That means I should be careful with unchaining my disciples, because unchaining them will expose them to punish the feeble reaction. So I'll have to send one of my cultists because I have 2. So I'll send, well, my strongest one then. So we didn't even look at the sacrament bonus. So I'm pausing the sacrament here real quick. All abilities have increased crit chance, not hit chance, but crit chance, critical hit chance. This means that Yeah, well, it's just there on the thing. All abilities have a higher chance to perform a critical hit. I think there are a bit more details on the second preparation screen. Yeah, so this is what I was afraid of. The Unchained Madness triggers. It's a clouded thought, so all the Weavers get to respond using their reaction attacks. But we're still ahead. I think we'll come out ahead. Oh, okay, so they've messed with our minds, and now they can exploit that heavily. So 6 free attacks, that is. Okay. This is gonna be a tight one. Oh, and Coco's broken. Fortunately, we have a critical hit right here, breaking one of the Weavers. But now we'll have to survive 2 attacks. Just barely, but please, no clouded thoughts. Oh, that's great. No clouded thoughts. And we win. If we would have triggered either the Daze or the Unchained, they would have got more free attacks. And it would have been game over, or at least for this sacrament. Okay, so that's enough, I think, for the next level. Yes, there we go. So even though our disciples were a bit roughed up there, we now will be able to inspire the Temple of Madness. So that's great. The Temple of Madness. Okay, let's create it. There's a new little button there that allows us to create as a free action the Temple of Madness. So let's find a good place for this in our city. Maybe not entirely in the middle, but let's put it a bit close. No, let's put it up opposite from the all-seeing eye. And as you see, the Temple of Madness has their own all-seeing eye that from time to time will keep an eye on all the little villages there. If you just saw it move. Sometimes it will be still for hours, but sometimes it will move. I also have to basically fix Coco. I'll need a garden. I hadn't created the garden yet because we didn't need any healing, but now we definitely need to send Coco there. And Marala also needs to go there, but the garden can only host 1 disciple at a time. So let's go and collect some more stuff. I don't think the corrupted grounds is anywhere near yet. We will unlock the corrupting grounds structure on level 12 once we become a creed. Once a Snarl creates a creed. So in the meanwhile, we'll collect some more hooded ones, and we'll get some materials so that we can upgrade some of our buildings. It sounds fine. Our people are excited to go. Our cultists are happy to see us go into battle yet again. And we're almost there in the old city. I'm not sure if we're rushing too hard. I'm gonna let Marala rest for a bit, even though she's sort of my favorite disciple now. And we would need her. The stubborn elders, they have 2 life disciples, which is going to be hard to beat with darkness, as per the elemental weaknesses. But what I want to test is now that we deploy basically 2 cultists, Topil and Alim, whether they're unchained, whether that stacks. So Coco might get a double unchained. But perhaps it doesn't stack, I don't know. Okay, so it has 2 unchained. Yep, and it's got 2 unchained Madness thoughts, which I think are better than the normal Doom thought they have. And they're physical. Oh, that's actually problematic because physical is not so strong against these guardians on the top and the bottom. life strike. Bit scared for that. 13 damage. Yeah, we really needed Marala, because Marala would have been able to tank a bit of that damage as a Harbinger. So obviously one of the things that we try to achieve with releasing a new commandment with 2 new disciple classes is to introduce a number of new strategies. Since you have the cultist class, which you can use in all Madness games. Oh, wait, let me make this choice first. Oh, perhaps we should resign, because this is going to be hard to win. I don't want to get more broken characters. Nope, I've overplayed my hand. I resign, go back to the city. But what I wanted to say was that the new classes allow for a number of new strategies. The Harbinger, you can mix it in any strategy that was previously available. So you could create a war, a peace, a lust, a chastity commandment, religion, and still use the Harbinger. Or even go crazy, level up far enough to select a second commandment, and then pick Madness, use a cultist as well. So that's one of the things that we really hope to see after this update, whether the strategic space has indeed deepened a bit, or at least is broader. The communing grounds, we're gonna need that with some broken characters. Coco's already very sad. We'll send Coco to the communing grounds to cleanse her of the broken faith debuffs. And Topil will go heal at the garden. No, actually Marala. We prioritize Marala because we need her. Okay, and we'll need some ritual offerings to make sure that we can use the miracle charge. Alright. And heal. Let's heal Coco, because Coco needs to be available for doing the miracle charge. We only have a limited time. Okay, now I think I'm in such a bad shape that we should skip the excited phase and heal a bit more before leaving the city. And we'll do a little bit easier sacrament. Meanwhile, let's gather some more ritual offerings. Now we'll opt to heal Topil, while the rest will go out on a sacrament before our people get even less enthusiastic. Okay, we have some offerings collected, so let's find a ritual offerings multiplier. There's one here. Ah, that's nice. Okay, nature. It's the element that's weak against darkness, and we have exactly our 3 darkness disciples to go. Let's see how they fare. They should be very strong here. Of course, these druids, they are very strong against morale attacks, which we rely on with morale. But nevertheless, we are effective with our dark attacks, so I think it will work. 15 damage, yep. 3, not so much. Again, 3, not so much. Are they so strong? Oh yeah, so they have a lot of morale armor. Okay. We've clouded their minds quite a bit already. At least this guy. Okay, 9. Okay, that was a lot easier than the previous battle. On our way to leveling up everybody once again. Okay, let's see how we are for time. It's 10 to 8, so today we'll only do like a 1-hour stream, because of course I'm not Rick, I'm not a machine that can keep going and keep going with the streams forever. I don't have his wealth of experience, but I will play a bit more of this and then we'll answer some more questions if there are any. And we'll have a look at the roadmap as well, which is something new that we introduced today. No, actually we just want some more followers. Let's see if we can rush for followers and create the corrupting grounds. Another level, the Eloquent Peddler Miracle, unlocking the Mind Fog ability. That's great actually. And we'll need some, let's see what we need. Charisma, all their abilities skill with Charisma, so let's go for Charisma. Okay, still room for some more resource gathering. Okay, and let's find a follower multiplier. No, actually, let's try and go for the old city. So we don't want to fight against the life characters again, but maybe, yeah, this is gonna be a lot easier. Nature characters, which we're strong against. Let's go for physical damage, because they have morale blockers, so 2 cultists, and perhaps a tank. Yeah, Morala is a physical tank, even though she's more of a support class for morale damage. So one thing I wanted to say about this update is that it's this is an update that's really focused on content. If you've played the Will of the People update from last month's update, you'll find that there were a lot of systems rehauled in there, but it was less focused on content. And we definitely want to keep creating commandments for Godhood, so that there are more strategies, more fantasies to play around with, to express your religion more closely to what you want from a religion. So that's why we did a content update now. Probably will alternate between content updates and more systems-oriented updates. And also we'll look at your feedback. How does this update for you compare to the previous update, and what would you like to see? But in any case, we'll keep doing commandments, but the pacing of that is still subject to change. Okay, so that was easy. Let's do another round of this. Yeah, we definitely need Morala again against the Rage Prophets. Probably I should have set the Weaver in here, because Rage Prophets are really weak against morale damage. Start unchaining Morala. Corrupt Vision, fine. I rather would have targeted the Beastwalker, because they rely on cunning, and Corrupt Vision lowers their cunning. But I should have put morale a bit lower. Okay, so we made it. Topiel even didn't even get broken, so that's nice. So we unlock Might Folklore, which is an Acolyte upgrade. Totally not useful for us, because we don't rely on might at all. We just rely on madness, knowledge, and charisma. Alright, so Topiel wants to do a miracle. Well, I think it's time for you to heal first. Send you to the gardens for a bit. Relax from all that sanity. And our next target is here, the Old City. That's the last segment I will do before moving on to the next part of the stream, just to discuss the roadmap a little bit. Yeah, we can level up Alim one more time. Oh, we haven't sent anyone to the Temple of Madness yet. So we don't have enough offerings for that. let's collect some more offerings. Because we want to see someone pray on top of the Temple of Madness, obviously. Okay, so let's collect some more offerings then. Let's make that our focus for this phase. Alright, some more heal Topil in the meanwhile. Coco's getting really angry in the meanwhile. Perhaps because we didn't bring him to a sacrament a couple of times. Let's get some followers as well. We'll ignore Coco for a bit until they feel better. Okay. And now we'll try to beat the old city and at the same time gain a bunch of ritual offerings. So let's send our strongest team. I think that's Aline for sure. Topil as well probably, because Coco's feeling a bit under the weather. And Morala, yeah, Morala is well, is he? Let's see how this works. It's very hard to do the stream and think about good strategies at the same time. But my main idea here was to use the two cultists to unchain Morala twice and hopefully focus a bit on the physical attacks. Obviously the physical damage is highly increased. But, or obviously, that's what's been happening through Unchain. Okay, so we'll have to drain 48 more. Oh. Entangle, okay. Good that we evade that. Because we don't want our physical abilities to be entangled. Oh, of course, the Weaver responding to our Unchained Madness. So you see that with this update, there are 2 more dark classes. So we've definitely focused on that element for a bit. In our vision, there are an equal amount of disciples for every element, so that there's a lot of choice for you, a lot of alternatives to mix and match disciple teams in every direction of the game. Oh no! Ah! Great Topil. No! Oh, I thought we were out of the woods when they evaded. But that was a free attack, and the opponent still had their extra attack, or their normal attack, I mean. Okay, so we didn't take back the old city. Apparently Madness is not strong enough yet. Snarl is not strong enough yet. The descent into Madness has to continue before we're strong enough. And I guess that some of you that are watching the stream will be way better at exploiting the new... the eye has been... The eye is out for today. We'll see when they come back. In the meanwhile, we'll send someone to the top of the temple. What I was saying was that some of the people in the stream, they will definitely be better at exploiting the new strategies available. Okay, Alim, that's great. You are the first prophet. Talk about ghosts. Let's see. It's a bit far for the people, and I think they're wondering about where the eye went. And as you can see, you can also put a dedication on top of the Madness Temple to further improve their miracle. And we didn't even look at the miracle yet, by the way. The miracle is Mad Connection. It's a very strong temple miracle, just like the Temple of War, for example, has a strong miracle. It increases 3 stats, charisma, knowledge, and health. And it also improves the critical chance of the non-kind morale attacks. Okay, so that actually is really good for morale teams like Weavers. Maybe Morala could help there. Or in a different... if I have a second commandment, I could perhaps use the Zealot or the Ambassador if I have the Peace Religion. But yeah, there are all kinds of ways to use that. More critical chance. Okay, that's how far we're gonna play right now. So there are a bunch of things we didn't see, mostly the corrupting grounds, and there's some more dedications, of course, and other customizations that you can use. But for the most part, we've seen the surface of the newly available content. We've seen the Harbinger in Marala, we've seen the Cultist in Alim, and we've seen the Madness Temple right here. And the eye is taking a nap for now. Yeah, I'm really curious what kind of strategies you guys come up with once you're playing. We'll be sure to look at the discussion topics and our forums, the Steam forums, and look at the screenshots to see whether we see some score screens there. But now we'll just save and quit to the main menu ourselves, and we'll finish this game at another time. So I wanted to repeat once more that we've been looking at the Old One Rising update. If you have any questions about this or Godhood in general or its development in early access, please do ask them. I will be here for a bit more to answer questions. And while you think of the questions that you want to ask, I will be looking at the development roadmap. So in the main menu, you now see a new button. This is well, the button was there before. It was advertising the new update. This is an element that we added to always advertise the new element, because we want you to know what we are working on for the game. The whole team here is constantly at work to improve the game. We try to keep a schedule in which we improve the game every month, but at least we want you to know when the next update is coming. So right now we're investigating a lot of things. And we don't yet know when exactly we can promise to create the next update. But think about like 4 or 5 weeks. But we will only know for sure in 14 days. And then we'll tell you. As soon as we know it, you will know it. So let's look at the roadmap for a bit. And for that, I have a nice other screen. So if you click there, you go to a web browser. And you get to see this post right over here. It's the early access roadmap, something that we hadn't done before yet, even though we told you about our ideas for the game a bunch of times, in the Kickstarter, even before launching into early access, and in various conversations with people on our Discord or in the forums, the Steam forums, our own forums. But we wanted to have a static place where people can always refer to that shows globally what we will be working on. And we're going to keep this up to date, so every time we do an update on the game, we'll also update this roadmap with the newest knowledge, the newest insights about our development. For example, let's just look at the roadmap. Okay, so we already did 2 updates. We did the Will of the People update, the Old One Rising. It's easy to know what we've done because we already did it. But what's more interesting is what is coming. So we made a few bigger milestones, which are grand goals that we want to achieve during early access before we can call the game finished. These are probably not the only goals that we'll be working on, but they're an important point for us, and we want you to know about that, because if you think differently, then you should tell us. And also we want you to know what you buy into, what you can expect over the coming months. So for example, our first milestone is called Create Your Own Religion. It's focused, so that's actually also the tagline of Godhood, but what we've seen is that people still felt that they didn't have enough options to express their own religion. So for this goal, and we're already hard at work at this, even during the Madness Commandment creation, for this goal we want to radically expand the scope of creating your own religion with a new religion progression system. I think it's going to be really exciting, but we cannot tell you about it yet because we haven't figured it out exactly. But there's some really exciting ideas there, and I think that in 14 days time, as was said in the main menu, we'll have a bunch more info for you. In the meanwhile, it is this little white box here. We'll continue to iterate on existing systems, UI, so the screens in the game, the quality of life and the game balance, and we also plan to keep adding commandments, although I don't think we'll add a commandment before reaching this milestone. And after that, obviously the roadmap gets vaguer. We know less about the future than about the far future than about the near future. We'll still work on those systems, so the same as here. We'll probably add commandments, at least one, and then we'll start working in the meanwhile on the next milestone. So except for a religion progression system that's more interesting than the one now, we really want to improve on the world map, or more generally the idea of world exploration. So there's a lot of things there. More challenge, more interesting choices, maybe some difference between your playthroughs. And this goal is still vague for us. We know we have to tackle it before exiting early access. And we also already have quite a few ideas, also based on what people have been asking about in the forums. But this is definitely a place where you should give us your ideas. If you haven't yet voiced them, please give us your ideas, because we're exactly in the phase of development, early access that is, where your ideas, your feedback, your suggestions can change the course of the game. And this is the whole reason that we're in early access, not because we think that the game is the perfect game that we had envisioned from the start, but because we think the game is in a phase where we can co-create it with you. Or co-create is a big word, but where we can have a dialogue about how we develop the game further. So those are our two big milestones. After that, we'll start thinking more of version 1.0, but perhaps we'll have some more milestones by that time. Like I said, every month, or at least every update, we'll take another hard look at this roadmap, and if it needs to be changed, it will change. Okay, so and of course, beyond 1.0, we've always been saying this, but Godhood is a really large dream for us. We have so many ideas. You guys have even more ideas together. So in our biggest dreams, we'll develop Godhood for years to come, but obviously we'll have to make it a success to warrant that. Okay, so if there are any questions either about this roadmap, about the Old One Rising, the new update, about Godhood in general, or even about Abbey games, then please speak now or be silent until the next stream. And if there are no questions, that's fine as well. If you were just here to look at my playthrough, at the new content, well, you don't have to play it yourself, that's fine. And otherwise, I of course invite you to play the new update yourself. For us as developers, it's really important to know how you value the update. We think it adds some cool new strategies, cool new content, cool new ways to build a religion. But we want to hear your opinion so that we can take it into account for the next updates. The same goes for the roadmap. Please tell us your thoughts about it. And then meanwhile, we'll just start working on all that cool stuff, or rather, continue working. So this was the only stream we'll do for this update, the Old One Rising update. Probably in the next stream you will see Rick again, and we'll do it with the next update. And so, like we've seen in the main menu, the development roadmap, it tells us in 14 days there will be some more info. So if you're not playing Godhood at that moment, make sure to check back in, set a calendar alert, or make your phone beep in 14 days, because then there will be more information about what exactly that next phase of development, that first milestone, will entail. It already says it will radically expand religion building. Alright, thanks for being present, everyone. Oh, sorry, I'm totally missing questions from Yoni, who is saying that on YouTube, Ren Schervers is asking, will there ever be some kind of mod support? Okay, so mod support is interesting because, like I've acknowledged, the Godhood is a large dream and all you guys have lots of ideas for it. For Renowned Explorers, we also got this. Renowned Explorers is our previous game. We got this request quite often. It's definitely not something we'll do during early access. You know, as long as things remain as they are, our vision for the game. So we would start thinking about that after early access, so once the game is 1.0, and then we'll have to find a good fit. We've always been keeping in mind when creating the code base and the data files for the game that mod support can become a thing in the future. But right now we don't have a plan that we can execute for it, nor has it any priority for us until we are in 1.0. If you have great ideas for how you would like to see mod support, definitely post them in the forums. So we have a Godhood forum, or on Steam there's a suggestions board where you can post your suggestions. We'll read them, put them in our hive mind here at Abbey Games, and we probably will reread that once we need some inspiration on where to head with the game. And if lots of people are telling us that mod support should be a thing, then we might consider that. The other question also by Rens is, or in any way, will there be a way to freely create stuff like God customization options? Yeah, I would see why you want that, because there are already some options if we look at the God creation window here. But there can be many more, and right now Carmen is creating all of them. Carmen is our character artist. Good idea. I'll just take it into account. And make sure to leave that on the forums as well, because otherwise it might get lost, the idea. Actually, you'll probably do the next update. Yeah, trying to learn some more about the next update. So I can't release anything about that yet, but I might say that, it will radically expand on the ways you can build your religion. So there will be, of course, more choice. That's what I can say for now. Alright, those were the last questions. I think Yoni is typing, what does this mean? Maybe as a question from the elusive Steam broadcast chat. Okay, so Yoni's informing me that I will also be doing the next stream, because Rick won't be there at that time. Okay, well, either way, I'll see you next stream. And we'll close it off right there. Thanks for visiting. Hopefully you'll play the next update, and keep in touch at least in 14 days when we have more info for you. Goodbye!